it's still true today that I come here because this is where he is, or where we spent most of our together time.
In Washington Township, you will find Tempest Farm. This 160-acre piece of land in eastern Will County is in the process of becoming the largest land donation in the Forest Preserve's history, and is where Beth Temple and her husband Arvid made a lifetime's worth of memories.
My husband's name was Arvid Temple. He was one of 9 children born into an immigrant family. He was born in 1917. He went to Chicago public school system, and after the school day would be over, he would go to Hebrew school. And after graduation from high school, public high school, he attended Crane College. Then he wanted to go to medical school. He thought this would be a good career move, but he applied to several universities, and they denied him admission. The American universities began putting in restrictive quotas in 1923 in this country. And there was a 10% quota for Jews in the colleges in the United States. Well, fortunately, Chicago had an alternative, and that was Chicago Medical School. My husband graduated from Chicago Medical School, passed his state boards to be a physician.
For Beth, donating this land and ensuring it will be preserved for future generations was important because of her husband's giving nature and how much he cared about the environment.
My husband's greatest joy was to share. He was a very sharing man. We would together grow fruits and vegetables here, and we would then harvest them, and my husband would come home and he'd say, "Oh, I left this here and this there and this there." And he was just so full of joy that he was able to give things to people. And together we found Respond Now, a social service agency in Chicago Heights, which is able to handle fresh food and provide it for their clients. And that is what we continue to do today. And what I remember most about my husband is that he listened. It's a rare skill, but he would listen to people, and he could actually hear what people were telling him. So his love and concern for people led him to this career in medicine, his concern for the less fortunate, to provide food for people, and he wanted to protect the environment. So he wanted to do that by following the best practices in no-till farming, which we do today, and organic gardening, which we still do today. It was very important to him to see this small part of the world that he worked on be saved for the future. So there will be no encroachment from housing developments or malls or trucking depots, but this will be kept for farming, agriculture, or as a nature preserve from now, hopefully, to eternity.
In addition to farming and gardening, Beth recalls projects around the farm that her and her husband did together, including working on some of the buildings on the property.
This is an implement shed. Large equipment is stored, like a combine or tractors or wagons. It was built in 1966 by my husband for that purpose. This building is the milking barn, and it was here when my husband purchased the farm in 1965. He did then put the metal siding on and the metal roof, covered up the old roof, and covered up the barn board and batten siding that was on the sides of the building. When my husband purchased the farm, this was not paved. This was mud, and the cows were up to their udders in mud. In order to give the cows an environment that was cleaner, my husband had this cow yard concreted. Okay, this building is called a free-stall barn. In other words, there are stalls, and the cows are free to choose which ones they want to lie in. Well, my husband built this brand new in 1966, or had it built, when the cow yard was poured. Then this building and all the concrete in here was poured at that time, and the structures above us were put in place. This building was a chicken house. I never saw it being used as a chicken house. So my husband had purchased the farm in I think the fourth quarter of 1965. We were married in May of '69. So in that 4-year period, somehow the chickens weren't here anymore. So by the time we were married, it was in pretty bad shape. I think 71, 72, we started to rebuild it, the two of us, and put in some electric lines and lighting and things like that. It was in pretty bad shape, so we started taking off the exterior sheeting and pulled the old insulation out, put new insulation and new exterior plywood.
Even after a lifetime's worth of work, Beth still comes back and remembers all of the love and the time the two of them shared.
So we would be working on things together, and I guess that's part of it. There's also the memories of him here. You know, I can't escape the pictures or the awards he earned. This is just him.